greetings and welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie and I'm sure you saw the title of today's video. So it looks like the investigation in Australia is heating up when it comes to Amber Heard and her taking those dogs over and whether or not that is perjury. So, which it is, because in the court case we had recently in the US, apparently some of the information she said there does not line up with what she said in Australia when they went through their debacle with not declaring their dogs Pistol and Boo. The Australians are PO'd, they are not having it, and they want justice. So where we've been at so far is that we know that they have been working alongside of the FBI. And the FBI at this point is going to be interceding into what happens. And we have an update about this. So Barnaby Joyce was the Minister of Agriculture when all of this was happening. He gave an interview to the Law and Crime Network. He is the one who's been saying, let's put him in jail if it's perjury. Let's put him in jail. Well, the Law and Crime Network really went in deep and they said, okay, what are the steps to actually getting Heard prosecuted for this? What do we need to do? And we have a big update, so I'm going to dive in and show you guys everything. But before we do, if you're new and you like this kind of content, make sure and subscribe, hit the notification bell. On this channel, I just giggle through all the trending current topics, and we laugh about how stupid it all is. Because remember, Ghislaine Maxwell and a guy named Jeff with an airplane, she just recently got sentenced, and we heard almost nothing of it, but this is all we've heard about. This is so stupid. And I'm interested, I'm entertained, I'm intrigued by this whole thing. But I'm just saying, it's all dumb. We're going to giggle through it. Also, guys, remember I'm giving away a $100 gift card, and it's really simple to be entered and eligible. Just make sure and like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, and watch this video from start to finish, and boom, you're entered, you're eligible. That's all you have to do. Make sure and do it for every single video you see, because the more likes, the more shares, the more comments, and the more times you do this, the more chances you have to win. Good luck. Let's dive in. So, by the way, Barnaby Joyce, if you guys have not, go to the Law and Crime Network and see the interview. This guy cracks me up. So my first round on YouTube, I had a really big Australian audience. A lot of my audience was Aussies, and I just love them. They are so straightforward and funny and not at all, well, there is some PC, but they're just, their favorite, guys, they greet each other with the C word. The C word that you're not supposed to say. By the way, that's my favorite curse word. I know. Ladies be mad at me, but it is my favorite curse word, absolutely. You know what's funny with me? Curse words don't upset me at all. The things if you ever wanted to get at me, call me crazy or call me insane. Those two are like calling a regular basic woman the C word. That's like my C word. It's like, oh really? Oh, we're gonna try to dampen my magic, are we? And my insight. Do you guys know this? This is sign language for psychic. I love that. Okay, anyways, so this is from Cinema Blend. And so this just goes over some of that interview I want to go over with you, and we'll get that information into where we are at with charging Heard. It says, investigation into Amber Heard over viral dog incident resumed during Johnny Depp trials. An Australian politician explains why the case is very serious. And that's the other thing, guys. So a lot of people are kind of like, okay, didn't declare a couple dogs, what's the big deal? In this interview, he goes on to explain which, as somebody who I have, lived in different countries, I've traveled a lot, and I can understand this. People have to understand that Australia is an island continent, okay? And as a result, their ecosystem, just in general, the ecosystem of Australia is insane. I just saw this little documentary on YouTube that was why is it that 95% or 98% of Australia has no people in it, and just talks about what kind of ecosystem they have there, and that when you have something like that, especially with an island, an island, I know it's a continent, but an island continent, y'all, that's a very fragile system, a very, very fragile system. And on top of that, in a place like Australia, it's already hard enough in almost all of Australia to do any type of farming. And they have farmers. In fact, Barnaby Joyce is a farmer, but he was explaining that you can introduce certain things, if these dogs, if they, didn't have rabies, or they had maybe some weird strain or something that hadn't been taken care of, if the right conditions were in place and they were released, right, and they went out there, it could be devastating on their ecosystem, and for it to be devastating on the ecosystem could just literally destroy their economy. Which, again, it makes sense when you're especially I said, with an island, even if it's a continent, islands are going to be even more, it's going to be more of a severe impact when you introduce stuff like that. So for instance, he was saying like we don't have rabies here, right? So okay, anyways, just one little side notes about travel and places. I'm sorry, it's like, yeah, I'm filming, it's like 4 a.m. I'm still not awake. And I don't drink coffee, so anyway, let's talk. Here we go. And it says, the libel and defamation trials are over, but more legal stuff has cropped up. By now, you're probably aware that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were involved in 2 trials over the last couple years, instigated by the Pirates of the Caribbean actor and his legal team. Amber Heard actually testified in both cases, where a variety of topics came up. In fact, during her ex's libel trial in the UK, the criminal proceedings they faced in 2015, when she illegally smuggled their pups, Pistol and Boo, into Australia, came up. This reportedly led to another investigation, and now a former parliament member in the country has explained why the case has really gotten serious, despite some people not taking it so. When the Aquaman 2 actress and the Edward Scissorhands star first faced criminal proceedings in Australia after Heard brought the dogs with her then husband to the country while he filmed the infamous Pirates of the Caribbean, blank men tell no tales. It's so stupid how many words I feel like I have to censor on YouTube, but I know y'all understand, but it is irritating. I'm sure it's irritating to hear. The whole thing was treated as a bit of silly news in the papers until Australia threatened to execute Depp's dogs. Ultimately, the 2 paid hefty fines, but their dogs were returned to them. Johnny Depp joked about the incident, and the matter seemed to be closed, and they had to do that really embarrassing. It's so funny, that commercial that they did, declare everything in Australia. It's so Aussie to just embarrass the HELL out of them in the process. I love my Aussie. Hi, Aussies, hi. I love y'all. Then a few weeks ago, news broke that Amber Heard is allegedly being investigated for a second time over the dog declaration incident in Australia. In this case, it is because information that came up during the Johnny Depp's libel trial against the Sun's parent company reportedly contradicted with information Heard gave Australian authorities over this situation. And it says, why Amber Heard bringing 2 dogs into Australia is being taken so seriously. Barnaby Joyce just so happened to be the Minister for Agriculture during the Amber Heard dog incident in 2015. In a recent interview with Law and Crime, the interviewer brought up how parts of the world seemingly saw the dog incident compared to how Australia saw it, and some thinking it's very serious, and others taking it more as a joke. Joyce explained on why it's so serious to reporter Agnet Levy, noting there are 2 reasons. And it says, there's 2 things. As I said earlier, Australia is an island continent, and we take as sort of our national identity, biosecurity, incredibly seriously. Other countries might take religious laws incredibly seriously. They might take espionage laws very seriously. That's a dig to us. He's a little cantankerous, but I like him. But we take biosecurity laws incredibly seriously. The reason being, it would decimate our economy. Joyce went on to explain the second reason has to do with how Australia has kept its closed borders to avoid things like rabies and to avoid certain issues other countries have faced. He says, as an island nation, the country has real but different concerns than many other countries. And he says, you have a range of things. Rabies. We don't have rabies in Australia. A lot of people go bushwalking. I've got wild dogs around here. I'm a farmer. And you know it would change the whole complexion of how our nation would run. We're very aware of what happens if there's an incursion of rabies or screw fly, or the big one we're watching out for is foot and mouth. They don't have foot and mouth there? I didn't know that. I thought that was just kind of common everywhere. Ugh. Sound up, Aussies. And so we come down like a ton of bricks on people who would decimate our regional economies, change our standard, our way we live in our nation, and force up the cost of living. So when Amber Heard didn't file the necessary documents, reportedly falsified paperwork, and brought the dogs in, she flaunted rules Australia clearly takes very seriously. At the time, Barnaby Joyce even famously spoke out about the incident, saying they could make accommodations even for a celebrity who was the most wanted person by females and men of an intimate nature, Depp. Why can't I just say words? YouTube, I miss when I could just say words. Y'all, my first round of YouTube, I cursed so much, and I was so happy. I do. I have such potty mouth. But hey, I have this whole thing I say when it comes to cursing. I call it my EEC rule. I cuss for entertainment, emphasis, or creative purposes only, and never for lack thereof. These are sentence enhancers, not fillers. So as long as I'm being creative and having fun with it, that's how I live. But do whatever you want. Or F it. It says, but if we start letting movie stars, even though they've been the blank man alive twice, to come into our nation and break the laws, then why don't we just break the laws for everybody? It's time the Pistol and Boo buggered off back to this. Buggered off. I love Aussies. It's unclear if the Pistol and Boo incident, which is separate from the poo in the bed, it's Pistol and Boo and poo, will lead to more legal trouble for Amber Heard. But the Australian Department of Agriculture did say in June the case was ongoing, confirming to the Daily Mail allegations of perjury by Miss Heard were being looked into. Joyce also reiterated in the most recent interviews, there should be expectation that celebrities should not get special treatment when it comes to the matters of law, but that he ultimately wouldn't draw conclusions about where the investigation could be headed. So, now, he also talked about what's actually happening in regards to criminally, where all this is going. That was something that I think it was Annette, right? She was, she wanted to know, and this is basically what he said. He said, it's up to your government. And she was like, well, what do you mean? Explain that. So he was basically saying, well, when it comes to this, we have to work alongside of your FBI. And we've already known, because we've talked about this, and you guys have probably heard about this if you've been keeping up with this, that the FBI is involved with this investigation. So he said at this point, to be able to get her here, to prosecute her, to go through all of that, we'll have to go through your country first. So it's going to be up to the United States to step up to do anything about this situation. The question is, will they? Now, it seems like nothing has happened so far, but again, we can say it seems that way, but we've heard things are heating up more and more, that the FBI is on her, not just for this, but for some other things. And just the fact that right now, she could be facing different types of issues legally when it comes to fraud, which we are aware of, because if you guys just saw my recent video, she has been doing this so the insurance she has, right, that's now suing her. Her insurance is suing her because if she gets sued, they are supposed to cover her. However, they will not cover any of the legal fees or expenses if it is proven that the person acted in malice, which that's what the jury found. She's already tried to appeal. It's already been shot down. Now, we still have, I think, 8 days left for her to do an appeal to the Virginia Court of Appeals, which we are waiting on to see if that's what she's going to do, if they're going to take it, what is going to happen there. But we already know from that, if that doesn't go through, that shows clear signs that she's had a 4-year period of defrauding an insurance company. Possibly, is how this can be looked at. Because she's been found guilty of doing this with malice and taking their money. Where do those lines of criminal charges come into play? And so many people want to know when it comes to all the lying she did. It's like, how much perjury does there need to be before somebody actually gets in trouble? So right now it's up to the U.S. government. What do you guys think? Do you think anything's going to happen over the incident with these dogs? I'm glad that Barnaby Joyce keeps speaking up. I'm glad he keeps saying something. And more than anything, you know what? It's educational. It's educational for people like us who don't live on island continents. And I also think it sends a signal. We should respect the laws of places. I mean, within reason. Obviously, if the laws are, for the people and for the environment, sometimes they're not. And then we try to change those, right? But I think that that's important. It's important that it doesn't matter your status, that you should be looked at equally if you do something of harm to the environment or to the people around you, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments. If you like this video and you're new here, I'd love to have you around. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and win my money, $100 gift card. I'm announcing a winner August 1st. So this is really simple. All you have to do, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, watch this video from start to finish. Boom, you're entered, you're eligible. That's all you have to do. And do it for every video, because the more times you do it, the more times you're entered to win. Okay, guys, I think that's it for me here now. Take care, lots of love, lots of blessings. Till the next video, I'm giving everybody hugs, mwah, kisses, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.